Well, greetings, friends, and welcome to the Gospel Underground Podcast. This is episode 64, Quitting Social Media. We are broadcasting live for us from the Power of Change Worldwide headquarters here in Blacksburg, Virginia. I'm here with my friend, co-host, Jesse Fury.
What's up?
No hat today.
We're not going to start this over again, are we? You're not going to give them updates on my outfits.
Hair well combed, looking well.
I do look nice today.
And younger middle age. That's what I would call you, because you're younger than me, and I don't want to be old yet. So,
although I was on a FaceTime call today with my guy Sam in South Africa, and you know when you're on one of those, I assume you're like me and you just look at yourself most of the time. No,
I hate video calling personally.
Yeah,
that's a
but
weird thing.
I felt like I was. There was an old person filter on my face.
Like, who is this old guy?
I didn't appreciate that.
Well, you are young,
it was the lighting,
middle-aged, and looking good, my friend. You're not even 40 yet.
Not even 40.
Yeah, you're doing well.
39.
I'm heading in the other direction.
Over the hill.
Yeah, man. Well, it's been a good few weeks for me. I'm finally slowing down a little bit on the travel scene. So
okay,
but looking forward to being around. Yeah.
Where are you going this weekend? You're going somewhere, right?
I'm going to Richmond, but that's
not bad.
That's with my children. I consider that non-ministry travel. Like every other weekend when I'm home, I take my children somewhere. But yeah we're doing a college showcase. The Club Champions League College Showcase Tournament.
Soccer.
Soccer, yeah. We're doing that, and should be good.
Girls going to win?
It's not a win thing. Yeah, they should do all right. It's more like they play 3 games. I think these are counted in their league, but a bunch of colleges come and watch, do the whole market thing. Well, who's that kid? And we need a midfielder and all that stuff. So... But neither of my daughters are interested in any of the colleges that are coming, so it's more playing with their teams. Kylene, who definitely wants to play in college, has her schools she's writing to, and they're writing to her and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's fun, and we're still waiting. We're still waiting on Kayla's...
maybe by the time this airs.
Oh, man. Maybe
Probably
by the time
not.
we're waiting on Kayla's early
maybe
admission.
Today.
Her early admission and acceptance or rejections. We're ready for both. We're ready to walk with her through a day of tears or a day
She's
of
a
celebration.
genius.
She's done well.
She's going to get in.
She's just applying to these schools that are so dang hard to get into. So we'll see. If I've got a little plush toy from the school of her choice. If she gets in early admission, I'll give it to her and act
Does
like
she listen? Will she know?
No.
Your kids don't listen.
Dad, we don't. Hey, kids,
do you have a podcast, Dad?
Dad, we don't listen to your podcast. Yeah.
And my family's the same way.
Well, man, you have a little update on
I got it. Well, so
the sins of your sins.
Yeah, I got a shout out to Charles and Trinae Wilson, planting Hill City Church in Northwest Roanoke. And Charles called me out, man. He was listening to our podcast, sitting across. We were getting coffee. Actually, we weren't together, but we were in the same place. And he had to interrupt. He pulled the headphones off to be like, "Yo, Chick-fil-A over Popeyes?" He called me out for that. He said, "Listen, he said I was out of pocket to be recommending what did I say last time? Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich
and then
was
you're
better."
Like, well, I haven't even had the Popeyes.
And then I admitted I had never actually had the Popeyes chicken sandwich. And so I'm gonna go hit up the Popeyes next week when I'm up in Roanoke.
You still haven't hit it up.
I haven't. Is there one here?
There's not. It's in Roanoke.
Yeah, you got to go to Roanoke.
But you said here in our notes, Popeyes over Chick-fil-A. I thought
all
you were
I'm
making
saying
a
is
confession
no. He said Popeyes over Chick-fil-A. So Charles, if you're listening, I'm going next week. Hey, maybe we could go. You could take me there.
Hey, man, it's a little nasty fried chicken sandwich. That is. I would agree. I think it's probably over.
You
Chick-fil-A.
think it's over?
Yeah, the pickles are crisp. If you like crispy fried chicken, it's a different kind of.
That's what he said. He said
breast,
it was like real home cooked fried
crispity
chicken.
crunch. Yeah, it's good, man. So, well, hey Jesse, I got some in or out questions for you today. So, our in or out segment is where we ask a question if Jesse or myself would like to go in or out. I'm asking the questions today. And I've got a few fun ones to you that cover the worlds of sports, politics, and family.
Well, I'm excited to talk about sports.
Number one, in or out, Jesse. A 2-loss Alabama football team missing the playoffs. You want to go in on that?
Oh, I'll just go in to say I'm excited for them missing the playoffs.
I'm so happy they're missing the playoffs.
They're missing it, right? They're like 14th now in the rankings, so they're out. Is it the end of an era? I have no idea. I don't follow college football enough, but But I think it's fun having new people in there.
I think there's still 2 NFL teams in college football, Alabama and Clemson. But my dad is an Auburn grad, War Eagle, Iron Bowl victors. Alabama, take your seed. In or out, Jesse. The CSB, the Christian Standard Bible Translation. Do you likey or no likey? Or the Christian Southern Baptist Bible.
Yeah, I call that the Christian Southern Baptist Bible. I'll go in to say, when it was the Holman Christian Standard Bible.
The Holy Christian Southern
The Holy
Baptist
one.
Bible.
The Holy Southern. You know what I liked about it is they translated Yahweh as Yahweh.
Yep.
I heard they stopped doing that.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
So I would say no likey.
Well, we get a free one of these at every conference I attend. Everywhere they're giving them out like hotcakes. I've started declining them. I got 15 of those. Please, I can't give.
Please give those away to someone else.
Yeah, give those to somebody else. But we were reading. My wife had the idea. She wanted to read a chapter of Luke every day during the Advent season. So we're doing that, and we read Luke 2, and it just didn't seem right. Just didn't seem right.
Yeah, so, I don't mind. I like the translation to a degree, but
it's good. But
I just,
I'm staying.
Yeah,
I'm staying ESV. All right, in or out, Jesse. The Washington Redskins, your hometown pro football team. Do you guys? I heard you could still go to the playoffs, even though you're like 2-9 or something, and could still win the conference.
Put some respect on that.
Do you think the Redskins are going to win the East?
Oh gosh, well with the Cowboys in first, maybe, but no, we're. Yeah, we can still win the East. We can't qualify as a wild card, but there's no way the Redskins are winning the East. I want us to lose the rest of our games. I like when we play well, but I like when we play well and lose this year because I want Chase Young, Ohio State edge rusher. I want him, and so we need to come in like we need to be worse than the Giants.
All right, Jesse went in to say you're out of the playoffs. Well, another football question that's not in your notes, so don't look for it. Do you think Jose Mourinho returns today to Old Trafford and defeats Manchester United? This is for my English friends who listen in to the Underground.
Oh, no. I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, next question.
I'm so sorry to our English listeners.
Impeachment.
Out
or not? Okay, Kamala Harris drops out of the race of the Democratic nomination.
I did read that, but I'm out. I don't.
Okay, in or out. This is very important. Answer this carefully. What is the last fight you've had with one Jenny Fury?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll risk it and go in.
This is Jesse's wife.
This is my wife. Yeah, Jenny Fury, my wife. Who also. So. This morning.
Hello, Jenny. You also are a listener to the Gospel Underground.
Oh, surely she's listening. This morning, there was a moment this morning where she was crying with her back to me, and I went over to find out what happened, and she said, "I need some space." And so this is pretty typical. We don't fight often at all, but when we do, sometimes I'm not really sure what's happening.
Yeah, but you are you sure you did this or
so it wasn't so much a fight. It was a really hard morning in the Fury house. The kids were it's like the kids had a short meeting where they decided how they were going to be against us as parents.
Yeah.
And then they executed to perfection. Every step of the way. So there was a lot going on, a lot of, everything that could go wrong in a 10-minute time was going wrong. And so I thought we were in a fight. We weren't in a fight.
But the French word for that is a coup d'etat.
It was an attempted coup d'etat. We squelched it. We put it out. But she was kind to call me when I was driving away to say, "Hey, we're not in a fight.
We're good.
We're good."
One of my most treasured moments as a husband is when my wife is deeply upset and I find out it's not me. And then I can just who needs to get it?
That's right.
Let me know. Well, thank you for sharing today, Jesse. We are heading back to the deep waters of deep work to hear from you today about your experiment in quitting social media. If you guys have been listening in with us, we've had a few extra episodes on various things interspersed, but we've been hitting Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, and then a little bit today we're going to hit his follow-up work, Digital Minimalism. But
if Cal's listening, we should get a cut of something. I know guys that are buying this book because of
we know in our hearts that we've done a good thing. Right. Thanks, Cal, for writing your book. I think deep work was defined as professional activities or focused activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. These efforts create new value, improve your skill, and are hard to replicate. I think it's important to know hard to replicate by robots too. But in that book of Deep Work, there was 4 rules, and obviously one is expanded today. First, work deeply, embrace boredom. Third, quit social media. Man, that's either exciting or scary, and then drain the shallows from your life. And so, Jesse, today we just want to hear from you because you kind of took this chapter and then the follow-up work, digital minimalism, to heart a little bit and experimented in your own life, in your own Tim Ferriss kind of way, I suppose, doing a life hacking experiment by Jesse Fury. You quit social media, or at least adjusted things greatly. Tell us a little bit about digital minimalism and what you have been up to or not up to over the last month or so.
That's good. I've been life hacking now for about 6 weeks with this. So I guess what I'll do is I'll talk about my own life experience or experiment. And
by the way, Jesse.
Yeah. Give me a star.
Thank you for doing this for us over the last month.
I do this for you, Reed. So I was reading Deep Work, and if you've listened long enough, you know that I have some hesitations with social media anyway, but I was still pretty plugged in. And I realized that I was creating some systems in my life where I had some deep work time in my schedule that was working pretty well. Embracing boredom, I can do that. But the social media, I realized reading Deep Work and then reading the follow-up Digital Minimalism, just how much the fingers of social media were really all over my life, all over my, I remember in one particular moment, I think I mentioned this once before, I was holding my little 1.5-year-old daughter and I had my phone up and I had social media up on my phone while I was holding her, and she kept trying to get my attention and I was just zoning out, like not paying attention to her.
You were reading of what someone was saying evil about one of your
friends.
That's
right. I was on Facebook or Twitter or something, probably getting frustrated, and she took both of her hands and grabbed both sides of my jaw and turned my face away from my phone to her just to get my attention enough to say something that it wasn't even English. She's a year and a half, so it was like, But and that for me was this moment of like, man, even when I'm home, I am just low grade distracted way too much. And so I embraced this idea of, in his chapter on Quit Social Media, he uses different ideas there. I think maybe an internet sabbatical or a social media sabbatical. In digital minimalism, Newport is working out a little bit more of the benefits of it. So some of the things that were really attractive to me reading the book is he talks about the idea of becoming a craftsman or being more developed in our leisure time because we're actually building things, we're doing things. One example of this is my son he's turning 10 in a couple days, and he's always creating stuff. He's making stuff. And so if he had his Switch and he was allowed to just play video games all day, he wouldn't do any of that stuff. But I'll come home from work and he's like, hey, look at this thing I built, and he'll go on and on about it. And what Newport's arguing is that is actually shaping us, informing us, so that when we're working, a lot of what he's doing is trying to help you have value with your career, right? Yeah. So when you're working, you're actually you're better at your work because you haven't just disconnected and become passive participants in social media.
So if I could take the example that you just gave, when your son, you come home from working and he shows you, Dad, this is what I built. Not only is that engaging his mind in a certain way, it's also engaging your relationship with your son. And even in a professional aspect, if you're teaching, it's probably a better illustration than, hey, me and my son watched a cat video. We're talking about building things.
That's right. Yeah. So he in digital minimalism, in that section, he actually talks about, he uses F3, which is a faith, fitness, fellowship. It's a bunch of guys get together early morning and work out together, uses CrossFit, and he contrasts those ideas of being social and active with even being active but alone with your headphones in, working out at the Globo gym or whatever, and saying we're gaining something from this in our social interactions that we lose if we're just passively, even on things that are meant to be relational, like social networks.
Right.
He's preaching to the choir for me as I read that, thinking, yeah, I've experienced both sides of this.
One of the things I do like about podcasting, most people who record podcasts, produce podcasts, also consume them.
Right.
And one of the things that I've enjoyed most about them is, one, listening to same podcasts and talking about them with friends, but also there's kind of a relationship that you feel like you build with the host,
right?
Which is kind of unique about this media, where people know that you wear Bonhoeffer House hats, and I talk about your style of clothing, and that I talk about my kids or things.
That's right.
There's certain relationship building that some technologies don't give us. They give us a false sense of it, whereas my hope is, at least with something like a podcast, is to actually build relationship with people.
Yeah, and he actually is making the case in the book, and I recommend reading the book. My wife Jenny was making fun of me because I listened to the book, so I'm using my phone
on an app
in Audible to listen to the book. But actually, in fact, he's making the case that we ought to use social media or use media to help us limit our media use. So he would say so we should just be wise about what we're using. So
he's not going full Luddite.
No, not full Luddite. He's saying we just need to be. So he advocates things like putting boundaries on your social media use. So he talks a lot about how social media companies they're terrified of people that would put boundaries on their usage of it. So
right.
so let me talk through my own experiment. So here's what I did. I was hacking myself. I took my phone and I just cut out Instagram, which was my number one offender as far as time waste. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Deleted the apps.
I deleted the apps.
Yep.
So I didn't actually delete my accounts. They're still there. If I wanted to go on, say, my laptop and log in, I could. I deleted. I actually deleted email off of my phone. I just deleted the Gmail app off of my phone because what I realized as I was going through this was I need to think through not just social media, but actually technology and how it's affecting me in the day-to-day life. And so I carry my iPad with me most of the time. So like even just now, I was trying to show something to read and it was kind of a pain to me because I didn't have it on my phone.
Right.
But what did it take? Like 90 more seconds for me to get my iPad out, pull it up. It really wasn't, I was inconvenienced, but not very much. And so, so I cut all those things. The only social media that I allowed myself were things that I felt like were things that I use in my work. So we use Marco Polo with the Bonhoeffer House. So that's a video chat. It's kind of more like you record the video and then you can look at it whenever you want. We don't mess around. Some people will do like the
filters. On it and make you
I'm like an old man telling people to get off my lawn with that kind of stuff. I can't handle it. So, but it's really helpful for us because we got guys in South Africa, we got guys in Canada and Richmond planting churches all over the place. And for them to be able to show a 30-second clip of a Sunday morning service at the Cairn in Bow Valley, shout out to Craig and Zoe Robinson, in Canada outside of Calgary, and then we get to watch that and participate with that a little bit, or to film a quick update about something that's going on, or a question that they might have, like, hey, how do you handle this in church life or in your family? When do you start to discipline in different ways with your young kids? Is really helpful. So I kept that one on. Kept GroupMe because we use that for our small group that Jenny and I lead and host. Mm-hmm. And so, but everything else we just cut out. All right. So, so my belief was I would be off my phone I wouldn't be on my phone very much. That was my hope.
Those are the things you usually do on your phone. Take them off.
Cut them off.
The phone.
I thought, so I cut those things off for the last 6 weeks or so. I haven't added any of them back in yet. And I'll get to that in a minute of whether or not I will. And let me tell you the positives of that. By far, the number one positive is I wasted less time. Mm-hmm. The number two positive for me was emotionally, I was in a better place because I wasn't
affected by all this other outside stuff that
I wasn't
really
reading
part
comments.
Of your life. Yeah.
That's right. I wasn't, one of the things with social media is we get into these, I feel like I have to have an opinion about everything. Like, because everyone else does, and they're commenting on it, and they're flaming each other, and there's this back and forth.
I need to have an opinion on that guy's opinion on that person's opinion.
And then I maybe need to say something. And if I don't, at least there's a feeling that happens with that. And it was delightful to we got plenty of issues going on in my church that are emotional issues that I need to dial in and connect with. I don't need to be connected with things that don't have anything to do with me just because I'm a friend on Facebook or follow someone on Twitter. So for me, those were the two most positive things. Now, the thing that surprised me the most is my screen time was almost identical. So
you created a vacuum and the vacuum was filled.
Yeah. So the most depressing thing for me of the past month was realizing habits, like my habit of just pulling my phone out and spending time on it.
Flicky habits.
They don't go away just because you cut out the social media apps.
Did you go to
I was
news readers?
Yep.
Yeah.
So no, I actually cut news.
Okay.
But like an idiot, I just would go and look up news.
Okay. Like on your web browser.
On my actual web browser. Yeah. So I spent so much time reading like news articles that also didn't matter to me. Yeah. So much time on ESPN.com or whatever, sports stuff I wanted to look up.
Fantasy football.
So I cut fantasy football and then I gave into my weaknesses and added them back. And so a lot of time on fantasy football apps, and so I think one of my biggest takeaways is for me, I need to think through, and I'm trying to do this right now. It's not just social media. It's actually my phone. It's technology, and it's mostly my phone because my other technology habits are much more reserved,
encapsulated.
Yeah, that's right. I don't
siloed. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So one of my takeaways was I read a book during this time called Atomic Habits. And did we figure out the author, James?
Yeah, I think I pulled it up here. It's James Clear.
James Clear. That should
name.
be easy to remember.
Clear.
James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits. I recommend it. It's very, very helpful. And he talks some in there about there's a few rules that he incorporates, like making things easy. New habits you want to pick up, old habits you want to kill to make those things harder to do, put more obstacles in the way of it. One of the things he talks about is stacking habits together. So if there's something, so what I've done in the last couple of weeks that's been more helpful for me is I will have at least 3 days a week where I'm having lunch by myself in my study in between meetings or in between deep work and some administrative work or staff meetings. And on those times, what I'm doing now is I'm saying, hey, this is my fantasy football time slot. Like it's only taking me. I'm not taking an hour for lunch. I'm eating for 15 minutes, and so I'm stacking this habit,
setting your lineup.
That's right, and look who's on the waiver wire. How much, what trash do I need to talk to my cousins about our fantasy football league or my church people, and so I'm stacking these together. So there's almost this kind of Pavlovian, the mouth's watering. It's time to eat. I'll get this done, and then I can when I put away my dishes, or when I throw away my trash, I shut it back down and
put the phone away,
plug it back up, and I'm back into work mode. So that to me has been so the first month or so was like, man, I'm just as much enslaved to my phone as I was before I cut out social media. But now I'm starting to pick up some of the other things that he recommends in the book Digital Minimalism, and what I was reading in Atomic Habits of really trying to create more limits and boundaries to when am I actually going to use this technology, not just am I going to use
certain apps.
Yeah, certain apps.
That's good, man. Well,
so but I recommend it. I've missed almost nothing about social media. I will not be adding back anything. So I won't.
Beautiful.
I will. I'm going to add an email back to my phone, but I will not be adding back. I won't be adding back Instagram. I won't be adding back Twitter. I won't be adding back Facebook. So I will still jump in there on my iPad if I feel like I need to post something. I decided with those I wasn't going to post anything either. I was just going to stay completely off. I'll probably jump back in when I feel like I might need to do something for the Bonhoeffer House or
promote something,
or But I'm telling you, man, I have not missed it at all. So that's been my time. Like I think I'm headed in a direction I'm encouraged with this. And Jenny and I have also picked this up. So because I was trying to create some space from technology, we've we've created a technology-free zone in our bedroom. So there was a lot of time where, like, we'd be laying next to each other looking at different social media apps, or even potentially watching a show where we're saying, hey, let's maybe not do this in bed. I'm trying to become more faithful at walking into the door at 5:15, plugging my phone up in the closet where we have our own little plug-in station, and then just leaving it alone. And that's been a challenge because it's such a habit, but I've seen some progress there that I hope will continue.
Awesome.
So what do you think about that? You ready to quit, Reed?
I need inspiration. I need help. I do a parenting and technology seminar, and I did it recently, I think in August, as the last time I did it out with some friends in Oklahoma. And I say up front that I'm an early adopter. I'm a technology enthusiast, but also a technology skeptic. So I'm very aware of the effects of it, on myself, my family. So I'm trying to sequester it, silo it, bring it under control for our family. But my life, man, this is just, if I could describe this for you, like yesterday, I'm in the kind of year-end giving, trying to raise money for our nonprofit.
Yesterday was Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, Giving Tuesday. And so there's many things going on. So I'm sending out a MailChimp from my phone. We also get donations in our P.O. box, our UPS box, and get that. And, I process them into our accounting system on my phone. I can scan them into our bank and deposit them from my phone, and then add them to the spreadsheet as I'm keeping track of the year end for the matching gift we have on. And I do that in my car from my phone. And to be quite honest, I love being able to do that. I'm able to send out invoices to various folks that are, reimbursing us for plane tickets or things like that with some real efficiency. I can do some administrative stuff like at halftime of soccer games. And now that sounds a little crazy, right? So it's really good for work efficiency, but very bad because you're on it all the time. If I know, like Facebook right now, all I seem to do is try to evaluate all these different people that I guess they see suggested friends. I'm like, do I know this person? Why are they friending me? Do I want to be their friend? Do I need to do this? And I'm like, that's all I do on Facebook, and every now and then post a picture of my mom I see. Instagram's more my one I like for personal reasons, for family, but
you got to get on there and let them know what you're smoking.
And Twitter is more kind of my professional, I guess, network. But even there, I typically am talking. I'm involved with different Twitter communities. I'm involved in amateur wrestling Twitter quite a bit. I'm involved with, say, Christian Twitter. I kind of follow different kind of pockets of culture Twitter kind of stuff, and so I use that more as kind of intellectual wandering. But I waste so much time on that. So the idea of deleting social media apps from my phone is very attractive to me.
Come on in.
Very, very attractive. Email, I could.
The water is warm.
I don't know if I could do that. So I'm a little nervous in the sense that there's a part of my life that both is devastating to deep work and helpful to deep work. And that's what I call intellectual wandering. It's what you would do if you actually look at footnotes in a book, right? You're reading a real book. You're like, who said that? Where did they say that? I used to, read more paper books and I'd look at that kind of thing. And in Twitter or even like news readers, you can tend to find really good things, right? If you follow really interesting people who are thoughtful, you can find very interesting books to read or podcasts to listen to. And so I'm a little nervous losing that, where a guy like Cal Newport, he's at Georgetown University. He's probably talking to intellectually curious and interesting people all day, students, colleagues in the hallway. And man, we're in the shed quarters here in Blacksburg, Virginia. We're friends. We talk. I feel like there's an intellectual stimulation that we have together, which is really enjoyable. But I'm a little nervous of quitting Twitter for that reason. But at the same time, I see the most ridiculous things, both in terms of people like self-promoting, but also just being cruel to people and getting caught in these little worthless nothing. It takes a lot of time. Yeah. So that's my quandary, and so I don't know if I'm looking for a halfway house of sorts, or
I like that idea,
or sort of do I need to be more cold turkey with things?
Well, yeah, and I think what Newport would advocate from digital minimalism would be not so much a halfway house, but more of a tight borders, right? So you might say. My lunchtime is my intellectual wandering time, and so that'll be the time that I'm on Twitter, and then that limits the amount of frustration you can have too, because if you know 1 o'clock's a hard stop,
you're done.
Then it's like, well, I'm frustrated, but I can't keep going down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So, because I'm right there with you with, like, you mentioned what you did yesterday with your phone, and I was thinking I did the same thing yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I was depositing checks, I was checking accounts, I was transferring money, I was doing all kinds of stuff that, like,
it's really nice.
It's so convenient to be able to do that with we're carrying around these supercomputers, and I want to continue to use them.
Yeah.
So for me, the social media, so like Instagram's a great picture of this for me. Instagram doesn't make me frustrated because I'm also ruthless with curating who I follow.
Yeah.
And I don't follow famous people. I've got no one with a check next to their name or whatever they do. I got nothing like that because, the reason is I want to follow real life people that I actually know. And if I don't know them, I want them to be people that I could know, that are friends of friends or so on, because I don't need to compare myself with people who have lives that I have no idea if they're real or not.
Yeah,
and that to me is the danger with Instagram, is it's this sort, because it's picture based, it's visual based, it's very comparison. It draws this sense of like, man, I'm not doing enough. My family should look like this.
My abs don't look like that.
But when people look like normal, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is like when I go to church, these are the people that I see.
Yeah.
And so, so if a bunch of famous people, if I was in Hollywood and I was, then I might follow people.
I read something on Twitter this morning, actually, where a guy said, end of the year book lists that everybody puts out, I just feel bad because I don't read as much or something like that. I was like, no, who cares? What, if they read something good, read it. But like, don't think like they read 17 books, I read 12. That's just like a lose-lose, right? It's like, but here's something that I have noticed over the years. And this has happened to me through technology, and I don't like it. I don't think it's good. There was a season where I was much more, I would read all paper books, crush a lot of books, and I would write a lot. And I think the period where weblogs and blogging was big, I would crush these long articles. I was writing a theological essay and a sermon every week. And then when Twitter came along, man, I started blogging less, reading more tweets. Now there's these long threads that people just like throwing these 16-point threads on Twitter, and I just feel like that is the shallows that's creating. I don't write as deep pieces that I once did, and I think I've shallowed out because of it. Even recently, listening to kind of a secular guy, an astrophysicist podcast, mentioning books. I started reading like the book next to you, the one we did, Intellectual Vices, or the one I'm reading on consciousness now by a cognitive psychologist. I feel better about myself when I'm actually reading something of substance rather than something fun,
a string of tweets, I think that's helpful. That's for me the challenge of even using my phone to do the things that we talked about, that it's really useful and helpful to do, that I'm going to continue to do. The challenge is that once it's open, so let's say I did that at halftime of my kid's game, man, it's just hard for me to put the phone back down and shut it down. And so I'm trying to think through, and I think you do a pretty good job at this, Reed. I'm trying to think through what are the kind of tools, how can I apply the tools that we've even talked about in our podcast to help me keep that under control, so that I am reading more paper books, I am writing more, producing more, more creative. I love what you're saying though about intellectual, what'd you say, wandering, because that's ultimately the thing that I was craving. I'm just realizing this as you're saying it. The reason I end up with my phone open and like searching for things, those are the types of things I'm looking for.
You're curious.
I want to read something. Yeah. I want to like learn something. I want to find out what's going on over here, and so maybe there needs to be, perhaps our phones could be used in that way.
Yeah,
I need to learn that.
Yeah,
figure out where to find that.
It's absolutely almost hateful to say that like not everybody's voice we should be listening to, because somebody thinks I'm the village idiot somewhere, I'm sure, but at the same time I don't think we were meant to hear this many voices. It just almost is insane to know about so many things, and then you run into good things like, oh wow, that guy's got cancer, I'd like to pray for that guy or give $50 to his GoFundMe. And
that's right. You mentioned something to me, because I wasn't on social media, about a friend of mine who was, because I wasn't on social media, I didn't see that this friend of mine was taking some shots
being
from
abused.
from some so-called discernment bloggers, and and so in some ways I didn't have the opportunity to reach out and offer prayer and even to bear the burden of this with this friend of mine. That because you were on social media, include me into it, I was able to reach out and say, "Hey, I'm praying for you."
That probably was appreciated,
and it was. And so there are things that I think I missed by being off, and do miss by being off. I just think I find in the balance they don't outweigh the things for me that are frustrating or time sapping, or even I think the way you just put it earlier is really helpful. It's not even the time sap; it's like the shallowing out.
Well, just as a review from our episode, a couple episodes ago, Working Deep Work, these were the tools. Do not disturb on your technology, charging stations to offload your devices, limiting notifications, using airplane mode even if necessary, so that you're utterly not connected.
Yeah, okay, but don't forget to turn airplane mode off.
And your wife's trying to text you that you need to be home.
Oh, man, we were in, have I told you this? We were in Canada. Visiting Craig and Zoe in the church plant up there outside of Calgary, and a couple of days in, Brett Johnson, I'm totally throwing him under the bus right now. My best friend, head pastor at Valley Bible Church, we're out there together as a team with the Bonhoeffer House. And a couple of days in, Brett's like, "Man, my phone is not working. I haven't got any text from my wife. None of my texts are going through." And then the next morning, he's like, "Hey, I figured it out. I was still in airplane mode."
Yeah,
we're like, "Bro, it's like 3 days in. Katie thinks you're dead."
That's but something glorious about that. If
those 3 days were like the best 3 days of his life. Just totally in the moment.
That's right. Well, other tools we recommend: books made from paper,
real paper.
There's something analog and visual and spatial about that that's good for your brain. Long walks to think. Certainly, that's a way of solitude with exercise, which is a good combination. Inspirational, intellectual things like good sermons, podcasts, calendars and schedules. Use paper tech if needed. Notebooks, dump locations for thinking about life and deep work. Evernote for me, Moleskine for somebody, of course. If you want to see a book underlined better than anyone ever underlined something in a book, watch Jesse Fury with his rulers.
You got to carry a ruler around. Hey, the nice thing about a ruler is it's a bookmark.
It is,
and it's an underline tool.
Turn it sideways, underline. Turn
so,
it
and let me with the notebook and the dump location. This is actually one reason I'm adding email back to my phone, just as part of my experiment is. So often I follow the David Allen. If you can do it in 2 minutes, do it.
Getting things done.
Yeah,
right?
Triaging
your email.
Yeah. And so I found often I will be driving and I'll think about something like, oh man, I need to email this guy back, or I need to get the ball rolling on this thing. And when I park, especially at the end of the day when I'm getting home, if I have 2 minutes in my car. And I can just either email myself a quick list or actually do. Sometimes those emails, even on my phone, I could just hammer them out in 30 seconds.
You got to do it or put it somewhere.
That's right. And so that I've missed that, and I think I've actually missed some things because I haven't had that.
Well, you haven't missed getting back to me on anything, so that's appreciated. Well, actually, you do owe me one thing.
I do.
That you can get to me.
That's right.
We won't say that because
don't call me out, man.
That does lead to where we're headed. Jesse, thanks for these few episodes, man, on deep work, working deep work, and then digital minimalism.
I was joking about Dr. Newport owing us something. I've actually really been blessed by reading these books. It's been helping my productivity, I think, and I'm excited to keep going this way.
Dr. Newport's Amazon page, I noticed something yesterday because my kids don't listen to my podcast. I ordered his college guide that I guess he wrote in like 2006 while he was a student.
Okay,
about how to do really well as a college student. So little college hacks that I've ordered for Kayla. Lord willing, she gets in somewhere. Where we're headed, Jesse, kind of out of our deep work thing, we're going to have a few family-ish episodes. One of the things that I've really enjoyed over the years is being a father and sharing some of the practices of being a dad, now that I've got grown kids in some ways. But so there's a couple things. As soon as Kayla gets into college, I've asked her and she's agreed. This could be this month, we hope.
It will be.
It could.
I feel it.
Let's just call it into be.
I'm not naming it and claiming it. I'm just saying I've got a good feeling.
Kayla's actually going to join us. I'd like for all three of us to be here because I know you have young children, and just to hear from her experience from 8th grade to 12th grade, both in her preparations for college, but also how some of her peers have interacted and the ups and downs, the stresses, and all arounds. But I want to wait until she's accepted, hopefully to the school she wants to do that. So if that doesn't happen this month, we'll delay that to the spring. But I think she's going to have a lot to say as a really brilliant young lady who's really focused her life in a certain way that I really admire. So we're going to hear from Kayla on that. And then after the holidays, some of you remember episode 10 of the Gospel Underground where I talk about a Christmas tradition of doing Christmas letters. Yeah, so shout out to that. But I'm doing a special project that you owe me something on for my 13-year-old son, Thomas. He's in his 13-year-old year. He's turned 13 in August. And I've asked men from my childhood all the way up to people that I'm pretty close with now that I've met in the last few years to just write letters to my son about manhood. And Jesse, I've been reading these things and dropping them into a big world fight in tears because it's been a beautiful thing. I'm going to bind that up together and give it to him for his thing. So we're going to have an episode about that process. And maybe if he's willing, he's our shy kid, if he's willing to come in and talk about how he felt getting that, we may do that. But he may be a little young or nervous about being on the pod. But we're going to do some of that, and then we're also going to enjoy some deep family around the holidays. Part of putting aside or digital minimalism is not only so you can be the bomb in your job, but you can also, be present with people.
Home. Yeah.
If anything, I've told fathers over the years, I've done, I think, 5 men's retreats this year. I said that kids need 3 P's from you as a dad, and we know protection and provision; those come pretty easily. But I say do that personally. Personally provide and protect for your kids. The presence of a father with children changes the world. We believe that on the Gospel Underground. Man up, dad up. Ladies too. The Gospel Underground is a joint production of Power of Change and the Bonhoeffer House. Review us on iTunes. We want some 5-star reviews. Maybe drop some paragraphs about what you love. If you hate us, you probably don't listen anymore. So send your comments, feedback, or questions that you might want us to take up here on the Underground. Thank you again, Jared Lynn, for suggesting some Cal Newport for us to travel in. It's been great. Send those suggestions to info@gospelunderground.org. We are dialogue taking place in the borderlands between the church and culture. Hope to see you out there.
Peace.